right, let's jump right back into last night's debate and some of the analysis. Joining me now, Joel Silberman, a media strategist at Democracy Partners, who's worked with politicians like Senator Elizabeth Warren, preparing for debate. April Ryan, White House correspondent and Washington bureau chief at American Urban Radio Networks, and MSNBC contributor Robert Traynor. He's a former senior advisor to George H.W. Bush and Dick Cheney, and he's the vice president of communications at Bipartisan Policy Center. Robert, let me start off with you here. Donald Trump, one of the most retweeted, or I think it is the most retweeted, was this tweet from Donald Trump about climate change. Here's what he said on the debate stage last night.
Take clean energy. Some country is going to be the clean energy superpower of the 21st century. Donald thinks that climate change is a hoax perpetrated by the Chinese. I think it's real.
I did not.
Science is real.
I do not say that.
And I think it's important that we grip this and deal with it, both at home and abroad.
The thing about your tweets, when you don't delete them or when people screen grab, that's what you have. He did say the concept of global warming was created by and for Chinese in order to make U.S. manufacturing non-competitive. So he did say it.
Good morning, Tamara.
Good
yes,
morning.
He did say it. Good morning. He said that, and he also said that obviously he was against the Iraq war. I think Secretary Clinton did a very good job at psychological warfare last night. What she did was basically put him on the defense all throughout those 90 minutes last night. Donald Trump had the opportunity to play offense on so many different levels, whether it's Benghazi. He did a little bit of that on the emails, but there's so much more that he could have done. And what Secretary Clinton did was just use fact, almost unemotionally, use fact to her favor, knowing that Donald Trump was going to do a counterpunch. But the reality is, and I think most Americans believed last night and this morning, that Secretary Clinton won the debate, not only just on the substance, but also on the style, on everything from, to your point, about the climate change issue, but also on trade and also on taxes and so forth.
Joel, you know, it's interesting. You have some Republicans who asserted that Donald Trump had a solid first 20 minutes when he was talking about TPP and challenging Hillary Clinton on 30 years. If you look back at the tape, his reaction to her bringing up the loan of $14 million from his father, and which, by the way, would be about $80 million in today's dollars here. He referred to it as a small amount of money. It's been reported from $1 million to $14 million, neither are small. That seemed to begin the unraveling of Donald Trump last night. Like, she hit him with the dad and that you're not self-made.
I think that he's very vulnerable because we're dealing with a man who lives in his ego. And his ego came up, and so did his adrenaline. If you don't prepare for these things, you're not ready. You're not ready in the moment. And he'd never been to that stage that way before, and she has. So by not preparing properly, by showing up so unprepared, which I believe is completely disrespectful to the American people. You don't disrespect the public by not preparing to be with them. Number one, actors rehearse. Mr. Trump has been an entertainer his whole life. Secretary Clinton showed up, and she was a professional in every sense of the word. And yes, he unraveled, but he unraveled because his adrenaline came up, and he was unprepared for the chemical reaction. It happens to all performers.
It seems like he was unprepared or not ready for her to swing so soon. You know, there had been some people that reported, April, that Secretary Clinton was prepared for the gentle Donald Trump, someone who would kind of try to compliment her in a backhanded way. We even heard him say, "I want you to be happy," right? When he called her Secretary Clinton versus crooked Hillary, which he did a few hours later on social media. But the aftermath, April, the last thing out of Hillary Clinton's mouth was about Donald Trump calling women pigs, referring to women's weight, including a former Miss Universe. This morning on Fox News, Donald Trump doubling down again on this Miss Universe contestant and her weight. Here's what he said this morning.
She was the winner, and you know, she gained a massive amount of weight, and it was a real problem. We had a real problem. Not only that, her attitude. And we had a real problem with her. So Hillary went back into the years, and she found this girl. This was many years ago. And found the girl and talked about her like she was Mother Teresa. And it wasn't quite that way, but that's okay. You know, Hillary has to do what she has to do.
Whenever he takes on the everyman, whether it's the cons, in this case, this young woman and her weight, he comes up short. What do you make of this morning?
But not only this morning, let's go back to last night as well, Tamron. He brought in Rosie O'Donnell again as well. So Donald Trump, you know, no matter how he tries to parse it and to say that he's friends of women and he loves women or he really admires them, it goes back to what he said this morning. He is who he is. He has a problem when it comes to dealing with women. He doesn't see them for who they are. He sees them as objects or trophies. So Donald Trump has a problem with women, and the Republican Party needs to gain the women's vote, and he's causing a major problem in getting that vote.
April, what do you make, though, after in the spin room he says, I was going to bring up Bill Clinton and affairs, but Chelsea Clinton was there. You could see, again, during the debate, he was thinking, do I go? She looked like she was click, 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 locking and loading. Who knows what her response was going to be? Whatever the case is, what we do know is he's capable of doing it. He now wants to do it, and she knows it. So the call and the response in this next debate, if he goes there, could seal the deal where women stand with him.
Yeah, you say he's capable of going there. I believe he will go there, maybe even before the next debate. Donald Trump is wounded, and when Donald Trump is backed into a corner, he comes out firing and he makes sucker punches. So, and it's not necessarily a sucker punch to deal with the issue of what happened here at the White House decades ago in the Clinton administration. Yes, President Clinton had some issues with infidelity, but that has been answered and moved on. He was impeached, but he kept going on. So he's still known as one of the greatest presidents in American history, in modern history. So Donald Trump is going to have an uphill battle on that one as well.
Well, and the key response is, and Willie Geist asked Kellyanne Conway this morning, are you then, though, trying to punish Hillary Clinton for decisions made by Bill Clinton? And she did not answer that question directly, and it would be asked of Donald Trump, I assume, if he goes there in the next debate. Joel, April, thank you so much for joining us. I want to bring in